Good morning. Is my voice clear to you and is my screen clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So last class we are talking about the law of intuition. There was one very nice example of law of intuition. The Just hear it as a story in case of law of intuition. It is the example of Apple, the very famous Apple that we have been talking about. So this law of intuition actually came into a major role. This played a major role in the Apple computers. Like by in the year 1976, Steve Jobs, along with his one of his colleague, his name is also Steve Wozniak. Both of them had formed this Apple computers in Jobs' father's garage. And 4 years later, the business went public, and it opened with $22 a share, and it had sold 4.6 million shares. Overnight, they made around 40 employees and all the investors millionaires. But this isn't all positive story that I've been talking about. In the very early years when Apple was attaining success, the stock value was rising, and they were very good. They had a very great ability of capturing the customers. They had a very good ability of capturing the customers. But then there was something which fluctuated. By 1985, Job was literally thrown out of Apple computers. The one person who has started Apple computers, he was literally thrown out of Apple computers. Why so? Because in 1983, he had recruited the CEO as John Scully. Scully was nothing but he was a president of Pepsi. He was earlier working as the president of Pepsi. 1983, he recruited John Scully. That John Scully threw Jobs out in 1985. Jobs didn't return to Apple thereafter. Jobs didn't return to Apple thereafter. Scully was followed by Michael Spindler in the year 1993, and he was also followed. This Michael Spindler was also followed by Gilbert Amelio in 1996. But none of them were able to re-establish what was the previous success of Apple, and it was like in its heydays that Jobs said, once people stop joining, then only I'll be able to say, no. Okay, so initial days of Apple success that what Steve Jobs had established, none of the CEOs were able to replicate the same thing, and all the during the initial days. During the initial days, Apple actually sold 14.6% of the personal computers in US. And by 1997, the sales were very much depressed to 3.5% only. Like from 14.6%, it came to 3.5% only. 3.5% only. And at that time, they realized that they have to bring the jobs back. So it was like Apple started looking for the leadership of its original founder, and Jobs came back. It was after 1996. From 1985 to 1996, Jobs was not there in the position. Now, when Job came back, he very intuitively reviewed the situation and he immediately thought of taking action. What he did is he immediately changed the board of directors. He immediately choose changing the leadership position. Whoever key members were there in the leadership position, he started dismissing them, and he took up the new members who very much focused on innovation. Now, when the leadership position was actually changed, they experienced a positive change in the hands of the company. Like once new leaders they started taking place, Jobs started looking on to what is the company's focus. Like he wanted to get back to the basics of what Apple had always done best, like use individuality, use innovation for creating products, and then he made a difference. He reviewed all the roadmap of the new products. He almost or took out 70% of the projects which were hanging or which were not profitable, and 30% of the products he focused on which actually created the brand Apple. He started adding new ones. He started adding a whole new paradigm to the computers, and he also sensed that there is some problem that's happening with the company's marketing. So what he did is he immediately fired the ad agency, and he held a competition among the firms that what good marketing strategy can you suggest for Apple. Now these are whatever actions that he took were actually not surprising. This is what actually a leader in that position would have done. But why this example has been taken is what Jobs did after returning to the company, say for a whole of from 1985 to 1996, returning the company after 11 years. He took over the company in the basis of intuition. He thought like this is somewhere this company has been going wrong. Okay, he made leadership decision which was absolutely against what Apple's previous thinking was. What Apple's previous thinking was, and he started he started creating a strategic alliance, like whom Apple's employees thought like he will be one role model. So he started making a strategic alliance then with none other than Bill Gates. He used to call Bill and said like Microsoft and Apple should work more closely together so that they could they have this issue of resolving, and whatever intellectual property dispute that has arisen at that time, that has to be solved. They negotiated it very quickly, and the Apple's lawsuit with Microsoft was settled. Gates promised to pay Apple and invest 150 million in the non-voting stock. It was actually cleared the very future partnership. It actually cleared the way for future partnership, and it brought a much needed capital to the company, as because the previous leaders who were there, they had totally eaten up the capital of the company, and it was something like only one intuitive leader would have done. Now that was something which was turning point of Apple, like by 1996, when Steve Jobs joined and Apple was taken out from its position of only selling 3.5% of the personal computers to US, to today being one of the number one company, ruling all over the world. It was very hard to know like if this kind of success is something which you will be which could be replicated or which couldn't be replicated. Even today, see, after Jobs also, the innovation that Apple people are focusing, the way this company is leading, it's somewhat like they have a whole lot of competitors. Today Apple has categorized itself into one of those products where it is just like a, what you say, like it's a prestige good. Like having an Apple phone is just a prestige good, but it is something more than that. Like the camera, the sound that we talk about, it is second to none other. Even if you put any company phone, even if you put any strong competitors with Apple, the camera, the picture quality, and the sound that we talk about in Apple phone, even people who are using Apple, they said that the application based of whatever Apple is actually a rival, or it is actually no kind of like the best in the quality. Like it is like you won't find it in any other competitors. So this is something which has been set up by Apple. This is something which has been set up by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs created and led the way on the basis of innovation, on the basis of intuition, and he believed that leadership in the position, when you give leadership in the position, it is more of an art rather than of a science. Okay, it is more about the principles of leaderships are constant, but then application changes with every leader and every situation. The application of the principles of what they have learned is actually changes. This was one example of law of intuition I wanted to give you. Then moving to the next part is your law of magnetism. I guess I had discussed about law of magnetism last class, but still I'll just give you a summary and we'll move on to the next part. We have another nice story ahead. So law of magnetism says, like, effective leaders look out for good people. They carry a mental list of what kind of people they would like to have in their organization. Like it is just like whom you attract is not determined by what you want. It is by who you are. If you are of a particular personality, you will definitely attract people of that kind of personality. People are actually drawn to those who share qualities with them. People are drawn to those who share qualities with them. For example, like most organizations, whatever characteristics of their leader is, they reflect the characteristics of that organization. Like it is more like the building a culture. For example, if you see by 2000, when there was a dot-com boom, like many of the companies were founded by the people who were in their 20s and 30s. And very naturally, they started hiring people they started hiring people in their same age group. The best example is of Facebook. Like when Facebook came up, Mark Zuckerberg came up, he started hiring people among his friends only, among his colleagues only, like the people whom he had known and almost of his same age. Today, if you look for, you'll find like people are in the age group of Mark Zuckerberg. So positive people tend to attract people with a positive attitude, and attitude is one of the most contagious qualities that any human being can possess. People also like tend towards or gravitate when they have a similar background. Why are people joining so late? It's irritating. Now people with education, they tend to respect and value others who are well educated. Like aapka jo whatever you have, your attitude is, your background is, when people have a similar background, they are able to relate more to it. Okay. So this is your law of magnetism says you, and in order to apply this law of magnetism, you have to write down a list of qualities that you desire in your follows. You have to put a check mark. Like if there are people who are in the stronger part of your qualities, you have to put a tick mark. If there are people who are in the weaker sections of your qualities, put a cross in them. Then you have to find mentors. You have to look for people who will be helping you in growing in your deficit area. Now you have to identify your deficit area, and you have to look for people who will help you in growing in that deficit area. Now if you are already attracting the kind of people you desire, take your leadership to the next level. Now start working or start recruiting a people who will complement your leadership skills. So what you have to do is you have to write a list of your 5 greatest strengths. And when it comes to in complementing with your leadership, you have to write your 5 greatest strengths that is complementing your leadership skills. And you have to always look out for 5 of your greatest weaknesses. Like you have to avoid those 5 of your weaknesses and the followers that you will be looking for. We'll come to the next is law. It is called as the law of connection. The law of connection. So when we talk about law of connection, it is just like you can't move people to action unless you have a connection of emotion with them. Like the stronger the connection, the more quickly the followers are like to follow you, the more likely they will be helping you. Now you have to connect with the people. You have to connect on the emotion level. The first thing that you have to do is you have to connect with yourself. Like you must know who you are, and you have to have a confidence in yourself, and you have to have a desire to connect with others. Second is you have to communicate with openness, and you must have a sincerity with that. Like people can readily tell that when you are faking something. When you are asking for a concern, people can readily say that you are faking it. You are very fakely you are asking for a concern, and you might have something else in your mind, or you might be a negative person. For example, I don't get along with certain people, and when I start asking them like, are you all right, then people say like she is faking it. Like she is really not concerned about it. It is not about she is communicating with sincerity, or she is communicating with openness. They are asking like you have to be authentic every time. Then you have to know your audience. Know your audiences. You want to speak to what they care about, not just what you care about. Like if I start speaking about you, about my life, I know that the people that you will not be able to relate it, and you will not be able to care about it. But something like if I start speaking to you in your language with you people, then I know you people will definitely care for it. You'll be ready to listen for it. Then leave your message. Like whatever you're preaching, you have to live up to it. If you are preaching good, then you must be a person who is following your own preaching. Fifth is go where they are. Go where they are is like go to the level where your followers are. You have to be very attuned with the other culture. You have to be very attuned with the background. You have to be very attuned with the education. You have to adapt to others. Don't expect them to adapt to you. I'll give a very small and a very it's a joke kind of thing that has been considered. The place from where I am from Odisha, so the place from where I am, we people generally eat rice. Our staple food is rice. आप लोगों का जैसे चपाती होती है ना, we people have a staple food of rice. Like chapati is like कभी खाते हैं, कभी मतलब worst case में खाते हैं, या नहीं खाया तो भी चलेगा. Like we rice, different types of rice is grown and then we consume it. Initially, when I came to this part of the country, I was very surprised. Like people eat chapati all the time. It is something very I was not able to accept. Is like for lunch also they eat a chapati. They for dinner also they eat chapati. Like every time. So at that time I had my boss. During lunch I need to eat rice. Like that is our food and I cannot just leave rice out. So when we used to bring like when you used to sit for lunch together, I need to have a at least 4 or 5 spoons of rice. That will something which will give me satisfaction that I had my lunch. So initial days people started saying like, how can you eat so much of rice? Like you people will you tend to get fat like if you will eat so much of rice. I heard first month, I heard second month, I heard third they started saying like, you people from south, how can you eat so much of rice? Fourth time when I heard about it, I started to give them a piece of my own mind. I just said like, if you visit to the east, I repeat again, I'm from a place which is the east of India. If you visit to the east, like let's say Bihar, you go to West Bengal, then you go to the seven sisters in the state like Assam, Manipur and all. If you visit that part's agriculture totally suits production of rice. For eating of chapati, we need to buy गेहूं खरीदना पड़ता है. We need to buy wheat, we need to make rice. And that part being very much underdeveloped in terms of industrialization, we do not have that heavy industrialization in that part. So that part of people basically rely on agriculture. Okay, given your assumption of eating rice and you will be just like आप बहुत मोटे हो जाओगे, फूल जाओगे, etc etc. Given your assumption, then half of India's population would be obese. Because
Yes, ma'am.
people in the
South India
east
also
and South India and people in the east, अगर वो सिर्फ राइस खाते हैं और वो राइस ही खाते हैं, because they do not wheat is not produced over there and they need to buy wheat. In order to buy wheat, you need to pay. But in case you're eating rice, it is something which is grown, and every household they have their own agricultural field, and they don't have to buy it. They rather we help in exporting rice grains. Okay, so if you talk about that assumption, it was even my director also said that कि अरे यार ऐसे राइस कैसे खाते हो? If you make an assumption like every day eating rice will make you fat, then half of the India's population would be obese. But is it the case? Is it the case like half of the population is obese? And
no, ma'am.
they
South India are very slim.
and they are very hardworking.
Yes, ma'am. Intellectual
And they are
people.
South people are very hardworking. I'm even not talking about the East people. I'm not talking about the East people. I'm talking about the South people. Like they are very hardworking even and talented. East, they are very good in literatures.
Yes, ma'am. Bengalis.
That was one point where the entire gang shut down. They never ever said this thing. Even today, somebody when says to it, says me the same thing, I shut him down right at that point. And that is one question I asked him. Like, is it something like आपके महाराष्ट्र में एक part ऐसा भी है like the areas which is towards Goa जो कि समंदर के type जो area है where they grow rice and they consume rice. Is it something which do you people understand it? Konkan side, yes. So when you are a leader, when you are about to connect with someone, you have to be very attuned with the other's culture. You have to be very attuned with their background. You have to be very attuned with education. You have to be adaptive of them rather than pointing out to them. You have to be very adaptive of them. Don't expect that they will adapt to you. No. You have to adapt with them. You are in a position who is looking for followers. You are a leader here. You have to adapt to them. It is just a joke. I wanted to give it to you when it comes to like attune to others' culture, background, and education. Sixth is focus on them. Do not focus on yourself. Rather focus on what your followers are doing. Believe in them. Like if it is other people's opinion of you, like it is something which is very less, then believe in them. See why they have this opinion, on what you can do the change, why they have formed this opinion. Now some XYZ is having a negative opinion of you. Some XYZ is having a very not good opinion about you. Just look into it. Believe in that person. Why this person is having an opinion, bad opinion about you? What is the reason of this bad opinion? कहीं ना कहीं कुछ तो गलत हुआ होगा ना. That's why they are having a bad opinion about you. Just look into it. Respect their opinion. Believe in them. And then offer them a direction, and most important, offer them a hope. It's very essential that being in a leadership position, you have to offer them a hope. You have to give them a future. Okay. Now, in order to apply this law of connection, you have to take 3 steps. The first step is, before connecting with the people, try connecting yourself first. Like try understanding your personality. How would I describe my personality? आपको पता है ना, what are the types of personality you had read in OB. OB में आपने types of personality पढ़े हो ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, how would I describe my personality? How would you describe your personality? How would you describe your personality?
Ma'am, 50% introvert, 50% extrovert.
Okay. What else? How many of you in this class will consider yourself to be a extrovert, total extrovert? How many of you in this class will consider yourself to be a total extrovert? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. I'm asking like how many of you will consider yourself to be a total extrovert? It shows half of the population in this class are not in the class. Phone on करके चले गए हैं. How many of you will consider yourself to be a total extrovert? Total extrovert. प्रीति धांगर, अक्षय जादव, चेतना जनबंधु, आकांक्षा खड़े, हरिदेव खरखंडे, सौरभ खिंडके, श्रुति कोडक. What is your answer? Total extrovert. I'm asking how many of you will consider yourself to be a total extrovert? Total extrovert मतलब पूरा outgoing, out and outgoing. Suraj Mahadik, Sagar is 50%. Sagar Bhande, Saurav Bodke, Omkar Chawre, Pooja Dahifade, Preeti Dhangar. Okay. Okay. Now, how many of you will consider yourself to be introverts? How many of you will consider yourself to be introverts? Now, those who had raised their hands for extroverts, request you to put it down. How many of you will consider yourself to be an introvert? Sagar, Shubham, you have raised your Shubham, Namrata, Snehal, you 3 of you have raised your hands for extrovert. Can you please put it down? Yeah. How many of you for introverts? Namrata, you have raised your hand for being an extrovert. You are not an introvert.
No, ma'am. It by mistakenly I raised it again. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So how many of you for introverts? Monica? How many of you are for introverts? Haridev? Shruti Kodak is for introvert. Soji Jaiban is for introvert. Okay. Omkar Chawre is... Shruti ने तुरंत हाथ नीचे कर दिया. Is like I said, Shruti Kodak for introvert. Aditi Burde, you have raised your hand for extrovert, na? Shuraj Mahadik. And how many of you for introverts? कितने introverts हो? 5, 6. How many of you are for introverts? Pallavi, you haven't raised your hand only. No extrovert, no introvert. Pooja Daifale, you haven't raised your hand even. Kalyani Jadhav. Sagar, you have raised your hand for introvert, but you are not an introvert. You are the only person who is communicating in the class. You are not an introvert, Sagar.
मैम ये टेस्ट दिया था अमर सर ने, तो उसमें 55% मेरा इंट्रोवर्ट आया था और 45 एक्सट्रोवर्ट आया था, तो मतलब ज्यादा मिक्स करना अच्छा नहीं लगता, लिमिटेड फ्रेंड्स, लिमिटेड ऐसा। तो ये लर्निंग में इंटरेस्ट है, इसलिए ये ज्यादा डिस्कस करता हूँ मैं।
मोहित वानखेड़े, हाउ कम यू आर एन इंट्रोवर्ट? मोहित, आप इंट्रोवर्ट कैसे हैं? पल्लवी ने हाथ उठाया, इज एन इंट्रोवर्ट. Okay. So this is something like you assess yourself. How would you describe your personality? Now, introvert people being a leadership position is something which will keep them on a spot. Like introvert people, they do not like communicating. Introvert people are a bit reserved and they are not much into connecting with the people. But whenever they connect with the people, or if at all and connection is set up through emotion, introvert people will be a good in communicating with only a very small group of people, and they will be very good in leading the people. But then they have a problem in understanding and the surrounding. They have a problem in leading them. They have a problem in solving their issues. So it is something where you need to understand your personality and you have to work on it. You have to understand what is your greatest character strength. Like, is it a communication? Is it negotiation? Okay, is it something like you are at times of at the times of pressures you can keep cool? So what is your greatest character strength? And similarly, what is your greatest character weakness? Okay, like sometimes you lose patience, sometimes you're not able to focus, sometimes you believe in manipulating. So what is your greatest character weakness? And what is your single greatest asset? What is your asset? Is it your knowledge? Is it your skill? Is it your attitude? Is it your ability? What is your single greatest asset? And what is your single greatest deficit? How well do you relate to others? How well do you able to communicate others? And the most important thing is how likable I am. आप कितना like how likable you are, how people like you, how much do people like you? Okay, it's a very good question. Like when you make a personality assessment of yourself, how likable you are is a very good question, and it helps you in understanding yourself actually. Like, why are there a certain category of people do not like me? Like, it is not like everybody should love you. It is never a situation like if everybody starts loving you, it means like it means like they are turning a blind eye to some of your deficits, or they are really not concerned about you, or it is just fake. Everybody cannot like you. It is not like आपको सब like करेंगे, ऐसे कभी नहीं होता है. There should be some kind of people who will not like you, and they will be actually your criticizers, and they will actually be your the person who would help you in gaining yourself, the person who would help you in understanding yourself. Second is when you are out among your employees, co-workers and friends, even when you are out बाहर जब जाते हो आपके friends में, आपके co-workers में, आपके employees में, thanks to this pandemic, this thing cannot happen, this thing couldn't happen. Like every year a group of group बन जाते हैं class में, and then they start moving, like बाहर जहाँ पे भी जाते हैं, they get new experiences actually, and this is something which I encourage my students to do it. I encourage them to go outside with a group, learn anything that you need to do at that time, and here it is something which helps you in making yourself independent. Okay, and then focus at that time that how you are making relationship building a priority, how you are looking among your friends, how you are helping each other. Okay, and the most essential thing that every organization looks for, and the most essential thing that every student should do is improve your communication skill. And as I say, communication skill does not mean you have to speak in English or you have to be very good in English. Communication is how well you are able to communicate with another person, how well you are able to understand that person, and how well you are able to now mentally match with that person. That is what your communication skill is. Like, you have to read books in communication, you have to take a class, or you have to join Toastmasters, yeah, something like that, where you are regularly able to communicate. Okay, and communication skill is something which, like, people outside will give you basics of communication. It is something which you have to learn. You have to communicate with the people. Okay, the next law that we will be talking about is the law of inner circle. So when we talk about the law of inner circle, it is like every organization, they have an inner circle. Every organization, even if it is a very big organization, even if it is a very small organization, then there is an inner circle. Now, what is this inner circle? For example, okay, people are precious. People are precious. There are people who are working. जितने लोग working में हैं, they will better understand this inner circle kind of things. Like, it is like how much influence, high influence you have with others. Do they bring any kind of complimentary gift to the table? Like, do they hold any strategic position in the organization? Do they add value to me and to the organization? And do they have a positive impact on other members of the inner cycle? Now, when I talk about inner cycle is one such person who is seen as, like, who has hold a strategic position, or one such person with whom we look up to, and we see like how high influence that person has. Okay, Warren Buffett is the best example here. How high influence he has. People who come, like whenever you meet them, do they bring any kind of complimentary gift to them? You observe that. Do they add value to me and to the organization? Yes, of course. That is why they are in a strategic position. That is why they are in a high position. Okay. And do they have a positive impact on the other members of that inner cycle? वो जो inner cycle है, उसके अंदर जो other members हैं, do they have a positive impact on them? A very small example I'll give you here is of Jack Welch. Who is Jack Welch? He is the CEO of General Electric. Okay. He does not leave. Okay. What he does is he does not leave to chance the formation of top inner circles within his organization. He is one such person who is opposed to forming this inner cycles. Since assuming the leadership position in GE, General Electric, from 1991, he has personally seen that this top inner cycles are not formed. मतलब एक organization में जो top level में रहता है ना, that inner cycle is not formed. But when it comes to managers level, every manager should have an inner cycle. Inner cycle is just a round rata. Imagine a circle. There is one point in the middle, that is that person who is leading, and then there are people who are inside that circle. It's a very strongly knit. Okay, it's very strongly knit. And then here what you do, people are knitted here, and they are, they are kind of like the person who is in charge of them. They make sure that all the people, all the candidates inside that circle, they display all kinds of excellence, maturity, they display all kinds of excellence, maturity, and good character. So that is what your inner cycle is. And remember, when you are in a top, it's very lonely. When you are in a top position, it's very lonely. They say like the person who wears the crown wears it weight. So why I said it is a personal value of a leader. That leader has to raise people accordingly. They have to put value in terms of production. They have to prove value in terms of like those people who raise other people are actually the people who had been raised by other people. Today, suppose I have been raised by someone, then I have this duty that I have to raise you people. Okay, and they have to continuously improve their inner circle. They have to hire the best staff. They have to develop them as much they can, and then hand off everything and then move on. एक बेस्ट स्टाफ ढूंढते हैं, उनको बहुत अच्छे से ट्रेन करते हैं, फिर उनको उनका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हैंड ओवर करते हैं एंड देन दे मूव ऑन. दिस इज व्हाट द एक्चुअली द इनर सर्कल मीन्स. ओके, the best example that has been given in case of inner circle is Warren Buffett and General Electric Jack Welch. So in order to apply the inner circle, you have to list the names of the members of your inner circle. Like आप किसको लेके आपका टीम बनाना चाहते हो. You have to clearly define their role. You have to clearly define their goal. You have to mention that what is each person's contribute and what potentially they can contribute to the organization. You have to look for holes and duplications, any kind of redundancies. You have to eliminate it, and you have to prepare them so that any kind of potential challenges that will come, they will be able to meet up with expectations. You have to spend, that is something called as mentoring, mentor-mentee relationship. You have to keep your inner circle manageable. It means smaller the team, the greater it is manageable. If it is a bigger team, it will be very difficult to manage. So when it comes to making an inner circle, you have to make members of 7 or less, not more than 7. Fine. Now we move to another law. This has a very nice example. It is called as law of empowerment. So when I say about law of empowerment, before discussing this law, I'll start telling you the story. The story is of Ford. How many of you know Ford? What is Ford actually? Ford क्या है?
कार कंपनी में.
Yes, car company. So this is a story of, this is what we will be telling you as Ford. Ford is one of the very successful initial phases. Ford is one of the very successful automobiles, but the story is not at all positive achievement. And why it is not a positive achievement is because the Mr. Ford didn't he didn't accept the law of empowerment, or he was not ready to accept law of empowerment. So who made this Ford company? It is Henry Ford. Henry Ford, initially when he launched with Ford company, he was in so much love with his with the model of Ford. It is called as Model T, that he never wanted to change that model. मतलब उन्होंने एक ही मॉडल निकाला था, and that model was known as Model T, and he never wanted to change it. Nor he wanted that any one of his engineers made any kind of changes in that Model T. So one day what happened, a group of designers, they built up a prototype and they designed another version of this Model T. It was an improved version of the current model, and they showed it to Ford. Okay. Ford was so angry on the designers that he started ripping off the doors. उन्होंने क्या किया, direct doors से ही निकाला, and he totally destroyed that model with his own hands. For almost 20 years, the Ford company had only one design. It was called as Model T, and it was personally designed by Ford, Henry Ford. But it wasn't until 1927 when he started acceptingly agree that the public now needs a new car. Okay, now they started producing another model, and it was named as Model A. But since after 20 years of Model T, when Model A was launched in the market, it was way better than Model T, and people started accepting it. But it failed in one point, it was totally behind its competitors, and in terms of technical innovations also, its competitors have done way better than that. But then with an early head start, and they started, since Model T was one of the very successful models, so Model A gained a market share. But then slowly competitors started catching up, and Ford company's market share kept shrinking. Like by 1931, initially the market share was somewhere around 60%, but by 1931 it was down by 28%. The Henry Ford at that time, he was he started undermining his leaders, and he started looking over the soldiers of his people. Like he started creating a sociological department in the Henry Ford Motor Company. He started checking of his employees, and to the point that he started directing their private lives. And at one point of time, he becomes so much eccentric, like he went into the accounting office, he threw out all the company's books into the street and said like, once the raw materials come, raw material जब भी आते हैं, put a barrel, totally put all the money in the barrel, throw that barrel into the ship, get all the raw materials, and then we'll start working on the company, we'll start working on the car, or we'll start working on the model. This was something like his attitude, like there should not be any books of account that has to be maintained, throw all the account books, एक barrel में पैसा भर दो, वहां पे सब शिपिंग होता था तभी, तो शिपिंग में जब रॉ मटेरियल्स आते हैं, रॉ मटेरियल्स को अंदर ले आओ, और जो बैरल ऑफ मनी, थ्रो इट इनटू द शिप, we'll start building it. We are not going to devote ourselves into making all these accounting ka statements वगैरह, we are not going to do it. Okay, and he started devoting more and more time, as well as he started diverting all part of his money into growing and experimenting different types of soya beans. उन्होंने क्या किया कि being a automobile company, उन्होंने major part of this time he started diverting, and major part of his money also he started diverting and started growing as well as experimenting with soya beans. Now tell me where you are going to, like you are an automobile company and you are into agriculture of soya beans. Okay, this was one of his peculiar dealings. And when his son joined the company, okay, his younger son actually had started working in the company from a very young age. So when all these things became very eccentric, like Henry Ford started going into agriculture and started producing soya beans, the younger boy started working hard, and he wanted the company to go on. But it was not easy for Ford Motors to go on, because by 1930s there were many automobile companies who were on the road. And very publicly, Ford Motor Company's future started looking dim, like उनका leadership ही नहीं था. Then another Henry Ford came. Another Henry Ford मतलब Henry Ford के बड़े बेटे started बड़ा बेटा जो है वो started joining. Like he became a very promising leader, and he started rising. Like every time he suggested new models, every time he suggested new technologies, every time he suggested something which was at par with the competitors, Henry Ford tore him down. Like he literally said, like we are not into producing new car, we are not into producing any new technology. उस टाइम पे जो बेस्ट एग्जीक्यूटिव्स थे वो कंपनी छोड़ के कंपिटिटर्स के पास जाने लगे, एंड जो भी बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स थे, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एक एक करके रिजाइन करने लगे. ओके, उनके पास कुछ भी चारा नहीं था टू डेवलप Ford. Then what they thought, like few of them along with his son thought like, one day Henry Ford is going to grow old and he is going to die, and at that time बड़ा बेटा जो है he will take over. Okay, उनका जो बड़ा बेटा है he will take over, and we'll do all the necessary changes, and we'll do all the necessary, bring in all the necessary technologies, and Ford will grow up. Unfortunately 1943 उनका जो बड़ा बेटा है he died. The बड़ा बेटा was waiting that Henry Ford will die and he will take over, and that उनका जो बड़ा बेटा है he died. The second son who was, or the younger son who was working, he started working hard. By this time the company was totally down. Like by this time there was nothing left in the company. There was a high opposition to the company. The board of directors, they were not backing anyone, and 41% of the company's share was lost, totally lost. And at that time, the second son, as well as the grandchildren of Henry Ford, they requested Henry Ford to step down so that they would take his place and they will do a turnaround. Okay, but it was a long time. They were losing $1 a million a day. They didn't know like how they were going to start up. Fortunately, like there was a group that approached to them, like we would help you in managing this company. And during that time also World War II has broken up, and market was not such good. Any kind of contribution that has to be made, Ford company made a major contribution to the World War II, but then any such contribution that has to be made, it couldn't made to the consumer car vehicles. Okay, 1948-1949, फोर्ड कंपनी टोटल मेकओवर में गया. टोटल मतलब टोटल मेकओवर में गया. दे ब्रॉट इन अ न्यू फ्लक्स ऑफ लीडरशिप. एक नया लीडरशिप लिए, और वो किससे लिए? जनरल मोटर्स के जो एग्जीक्यूटिव थे, दे lured them into Ford Motors. Okay. Second, the younger son of Henry Ford, he rose to a position of vice president, not president. He rose to a position of vice president. They started maintaining all their accounts, and they slowly started catching up with the technology, and they started launching a new vehicle जो कि मॉडल ए में आया था. They started giving new technology. They launched a new vehicle, and that vehicle was named as Ford's Model A. It went into the market. The market was a huge hit in the market. The market started picking up. It was actually General Motors के जितने भी executives लाए गए थे, all the outstanding executives of the General Motors who helped them, and Ford started living up to its name, and today is Ford what it is. Now, who was the actual boss here? The actual boss is the younger son who was working from a very young age at that company, and he lived by this law of empowerment, where he believed that from a very young age, when he has seen that his father has turned eccentric and his brother was not able to do anything, he believed that if we empower a certain category of people, they will help us out in coming from this position. And what he did, he brought good executives from General Motors. He empowered them that it is your company right now. You have to work on, you have to suggest me the changes so that this company is going to stand up again. Whatever its weaknesses are, it has to stand up again. Okay, what he did is he started leading them. There. He understood this leadership philosophy. Like, if somebody is working for you, you don't have to let him be very comfortable. Keep the people very anxious. Put all kinds of responsibility in their shoulders. Then only they will be working for you. Okay, this is what he believed, and that is why when he brought the new members to the board, he gave the responsibility to them, like, now it is on your hands. You have to revive Ford here. You have to bring Ford out. So when responsibility came to their hands, when they had empowered them with everything that they will be doing, they started showing their results. And Ford is something which is one of the top leading automobile companies in US today. So Ford is what it is right now. So this is what your law of empowerment says. Like, in order to lead others, you have to help them to reach their potential. It means like you have to encourage them, you have to give them power, you have to help them in succeeding. Just a minute. You have to help them in succeeding. Then only you are empowering them, and then only they will be able to contribute to you. Then there are three barriers when you come for empowerment. The first barrier is there should be a desire for job security. Every leader has to worry that the subordinates who are there, they will become dispensable, or like जो भी आज follow करते हैं कल मुझे छोड़ के चले जाएंगे. The first thing is you should secure your jobs. Second is, in case there is any resistance to change, you have to empower them. You have to innovate. You have to grow with them. You have to say, like, change is actually the price of a progress, and you need to embrace it. And there is a lack of self-worth that happens among the peoples. Like, people often worry what others think about them. They have to constantly think. They don't feel that they really have it themselves. You have to give them confidence every time. Bapre. And then we go for the next law. This is called as law of picture. Okay. So when we talk about law of picture, the great leaders, or the very good leaders, they have to communicate their vision of a greater future, of a better future. But they also model that vision. Like, when times are tough and when there is an uncertainty around us, the followers, they need to see that we have to come out of this uncertainty time, or these followers, they need to have a clear picture from their leaders. So in order to have this law of the picture, or what people do, what people see, what you have to do is, there are three ideas to keep in mind. The first one is, you have to remember that followers are always watching you. Like if you're a leader, there are people who will always be watching you every move of yours. Employees do what their bosses do, not what they say. Okay, जो भी boss करते हैं, employees also do the same thing. No, it is not actually what the bosses say. Second is, it's easier to teach what's right than to do what's right. It is very easier to tell what's right, but then to do what's right is actually very difficult. There is nothing more there is nothing more convincing than people who give a good advice and set a very good example. Then work on changing yourself before trying to improve others. Like avoid the temptation to try to change others. First make changes in yourself, then you will try making changes with others. Now this law of picture, in order to apply this law of picture, you have to take 3 steps. Give yourself a character audit. Like it has to be every 6 months or every 1 year basis, where you have to think about your actions of the last month, where you are standing in terms of your values. What are your core values? What are your integrity? What is your hard work? What is your honesty? In total, how much you have, how much percentage of yourself has given to the work. Second is ask a trusted colleague or a friend to watch you for a month and then to compare and to teach you like how you are acting. Okay, ask him to record any inconsistencies and then discuss and do better in that area. And then the last thing that we will say is list the 5 things you wish your people to do better. Grade yourself in terms of your own performance, like the 5 things versus your own performance. If your scores are low, then first change yourself. If your scores are high, then give an example so that people are going to follow you. The last law that I will be telling you before signing off from this class, it is called as the law of buy-in. Like people buy into the leaders than to the visions. Unfortunately, most leaders have it backwards. Like they believe that if the cause is good enough, people will automatically buy in, but people actually do not follow the causes. What the leader and the cause, they always go together, and it is always in a combination. There are 4 combinations here. Like when followers don't like the leader or the vision, they look for another leader. Yes, of course. When followers don't like the leader, but they do like the vision, they look for another leader who would do the same vision for them. Like when followers like the leader but don't like the vision, they change the vision. When followers like the leader and the vision, they get behind both. अगर उनको लीडर पसंद नहीं है कि या लीडर का विजन पसंद नहीं है, तो वो दूसरे लीडर देखते हैं. अगर उनको वो लीडर पसंद नहीं है पर उनको उसका विजन पसंद है, फिर भी वो दूसरा लीडर देखते हैं जो उनको वही विजन सॉल्व करके देंगे. Agar they like the leader, if there is a person, if the followers like the leader, but they do not like his vision, what they do is they ask to change the vision. वो vision ही change करते हैं, not the person. Now, if they like the leader as well as the vision, they follow that person. Now, for a success as a leader, it is actually measured by your ability to actually take people where they need to go. आप लोगों को उनके पोजीशन पहुंचाने में कितना एफिशिएंट हो, उसके बेसिस पे वो आपको जज करते हैं या उस बेसिस पे आपका सक्सेस रेट देखते हैं. ओके, इन ऑर्डर टू अप्लाई दिस लॉ ऑफ बाय इन, यू हैव टू राइट अ विजन स्टेटमेंट ऑफ योर ओन. Like vision up, what is your future and what are your goals, how you are planning to lead and how you are trying to accomplish. List the members of your team who must buy your vision. आप देखो आपका जो विजन है, आपके कितने दोस्त या आपके टीम मेंबर्स कितने, how much they buy it. They ask them to rate them in a scale of 1 to 10, and before going to do all this thing, try assessing your credibility with individuals, like how good relationship you have, how authentic you are with one person, or how honest you are with one person. What are the high standards that you have set for yourself, and how people will look for these high standards as a good example. How you are developing people as leaders. Okay, you have to develop a strategy for each person. As I had said, 5 people are like 5 fingers of your hand. They are all different in terms of personality. They are all different in terms of perception. So you have to develop a strategy for each person, and you have to you make it a primary goal that you add value to each of them. Now we'll discuss law 15 to 21 in the next class. I'll rather stop it here. Okay, any doubts? Anything you need from me? Yes.
मैडम एक डाउट है मैडम, ये टेक्स्ट बुक जो है वो पवन सर भेजे थे पिछले महीने, तो इस महीने इस वीक इस सेमेस्टर भी भेजने के लिए बोले ना ई बुक
21 irrefutable laws of leadership, ये ज्यादा
हाँ, yes,
टेक्स्ट
ma'am.
बुक में नहीं मिलता है
मतलब
ये।
एग्जाम के लिए जो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है।
ठीक है, ठीक है, लेट मी सर्च, अगर मुझे मिलता है तो मैं भेजती हूँ। दिस इज एक्चुअली वन नाइस बुक, आप इसको खरीद के खुद भी पढ़ सकते हो, इवन इफ इट इज नॉट इन योर सब्जेक्ट एरिया। ठीक है, इट्स बहुत ही अच्छा बुक है, एंड इसमें बहुत अच्छे अच्छे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स की लाइक आई नो इफ आई गिव यू एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ फेसबुक, आई नो इफ आई गिव एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ व्हाट, आप समझोगे, बट इसमें और भी बहुत अच्छे अच्छे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं जो आपको पढ़ना चाहिए। तो आप इफ इन केस यू लाइक, यू कैन buy it for yourself also. मैं पवन सर को बोल
Yes,
दूंगी।
ma'am.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Shall I leave the class now?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you then.
Thank you, ma'am.